So you know those YouTube channels where people buy old or broken cars and then spend months or years fixing them? This is going to be kind of like that.
This is the prototype Electrom light electric vehicle, designed and made by Tig Cross in Victoria, Canada. About 3 years ago, I took a trip to visit him in order to test out the bike and see if it could be the car replacement I've been dreaming of. Then, last April, the opportunity presented itself, and I was finally able to bring it home with me.
Knowing that this was a prototype version coming with a lot of the wear and tear and quirks that come with being a not fully finished product, I effectively bought the e-bike equivalent of a project car. But it was a challenge I was willing to take on. I'm not a professional bike mechanic. I'm not super knowledgeable about e-bikes. I'm just a guy with a dream and a determination to make this e-bike what I want it to be. So I'm going to be documenting my progress in these videos. Hopefully some of you find it entertaining. I've got a whole laundry list of things I want to do. So let's get to it.
First things first, we're going to change out the shock system. This is what was on here originally. This is a 190mm D&M shock, and I'm going to replace it with two 210 D&M shocks mounted on either side of this bracket. Now, admittedly, this was not designed for the application I'm trying to apply, so we're going to have to get creative. Just got some standard M8 bolts that you can find at any hardware store. It's got a smooth and threaded section. Now, these smooth sections of the bolt are going to be what the bracket and the shocks ride on, and the threaded section in the middle is going to be connected with a coupler nut. This coupler nut is about 24 mil, where this is about 25 mil between the two sides. First thing I gotta do is cut these down to size so that these don't stick out further than they have to. Okay, so this is roughly what the shocks on we're just going to ride on will look like. If we look at this, they're going to be riding on the smooth sections. That's good, that's what we want. Because I'm sure it will work, but whether it'll work well, that's a completely different question. Not quite there yet. There we go, we've reached the end. Alright, so a little bit of slop in there. Might have to add some plastic washers or something like that in there. Let's fit it up against the actual shock that I'm going to be installing. Yeah, that's going to have a little bit of slop in there too. So I've done a little bit of a mock-up right here just to kind of get the idea of what I'm doing. These are not tightened down as tight as I could get them, but it's just a mock-up, doesn't really matter. These are solid. These are not going anywhere. I've got these little rubber washers in here to kind of take up some space so that these don't just jut out and these can't move side to side. This is gonna work great. Once there's Loctite in here, these aren't going anywhere. Okay, so we officially have both brackets in there. This is looking really good. This was hard to get in for reasons I'm sure you realize. Like these bits right here, I could probably cut these back with an angle grinder to make this a little easier on both sides. But down here is the real problem, because this is like solid, well, it's not solid aluminum, but there's no like access point through the side here. And these bolts have to be in the shock before I can even put them in, otherwise it's impossible to get them through. So I had to put this one on here first, then the top side here, and then the bottom side here. And I've also made sure that these coupler nuts are evenly spaced between the two brackets, and then these aren't cinched down so tight that it actually bends the aluminum. I don't want that. because I don't want to accidentally compromise the welds here. All right, time to test out the shocks. Let's get these blocks out from underneath the main body. Just enough to let it sit on its own. Yeah, I think that works out really well. Don't feel it jangling or anything like that. Even with my full weight on it, it still has travel. This is exactly what I'm looking for. Oh hey, and that squeak went away too, now that I've compressed it a few times. So why am I doing this? Well, ultimately, I want to be able to carry a full person on the back of the Electrom. This tail box actually has a section for a person to sit once you take the hatch off. And that works for kids and very small adults. But for someone like my size, the original shock wasn't strong enough to both hold the person and have any kind of shock absorbing ability. Now that there's two back there, I think we'll be able to actually carry a person. The obvious thing to do would be to take it for a test drive, test out the suspension. But, got a problem. This rim is shot. Sidewall is shearing off. This isn't safe. Luckily, I just got a new wheel build from Tig himself. I don't think I have a way of lifting this bike up off the ground enough to get clearance to get the wheel out without removing the fender. If I'm going to be doing work like this more often, then I should probably get something like a scissor lift or something to really get this up so I can have all the room I need to play with to not always be removing the fender. But if I can't figure out something within the next 15 minutes, I think I'll just remove the fender and replace these zip ties. It's the way it goes sometimes. You gotta work with what you got. Finally got the wheel off. Now we just gotta remove the tire, the brake rotor, torque arrestor, put it on the new wheel with the upgraded rim and motor. We should be set.
Don't let the time lapse fool you. I struggled to get this tire off. I assumed it would be just as easy as replacing the tires on my other bikes, but I'd forgotten that these are moped tires and are quite a bit stiffer around the sidewall than the tires that I'm used to.
Last time I was at the bike shop, I asked them if they had any recommendations for what I could do to increase my braking power, because I noticed recently it's been a little lacking. Scuff this up a bit, then wipe it off with some acetone and paper towels. Try not to touch that surface with my greasy hands, and then we'll install it on the new motor. I'm going to be using a used sanding disc. This is something in the realm of 220, something like that. I think that's probably a little higher than I want, but don't want to mess this up too much. So, also I've never done this before, so it feels a little wrong to be doing this, but I really need like a desk or something in here to be doing this. Shiny. Not so shiny. Gotta do this side now. Alright, that's most of the glazing taken off and cleaned up about as best as I can get it, so let's install it. Well, I think that looks pretty good. I do believe that is rolling in the right direction. It's on this side. Wheel's going to be moving forward that way. That's where the arrows are pointing. I think we're good. Time to get the tire on the new wheel. Hopefully this goes easier than taking it off the old wheel did.
I must be a glutton for punishment, because of course, having not learned my lesson from before, this was in fact not easier than taking it off the old wheel. After this experience, it finally clicked that I don't have the right tools to get this job done. I'll probably look into getting a pair of tire levers if this is something I'm going to have to do again at some point. Anyway, after struggling for what felt like an hour, I relented and took the wheel into the bike shop so I could be done with it and move on to the next step.
Okay, now that we got the tire on and aired up, thank you, Cody at Freewheel, for giving me a leg up on this. Now we can install it. So I'm having a little bit of trouble getting this lined up just right. See, if I spin it, it's straight, but I can hear the brake pads rubbing up against the rotor. And I imagine it's just slightly out of alignment.
Here I'm taking the brake assembly and loosening it just enough so it's somewhat free-floating. My roommate is off camera squeezing the brakes before I tighten it back down to hopefully realign the pads to the new position of the rotor. After trying this a few times, we decided this was not working. I figured the hydraulic pistons needed to be pushed in to reset their positions, which means taking off the wheel once again. And here you can see me trying to push those pads as far apart as they will go.
I don't know how well you can see that, but those brake pads are really shiny. Means I'm gonna have to do something about those too.
Instead of going through the whole process of saving the existing brake pads, which would involve more sanding and being even more careful about not touching the working surfaces, I decided to simply replace them with new pads I got from a previous visit to the bike shop. I wasn't planning on doing this for a while, because the old brakes still have a decent amount of life in them, but this was the easier and quicker option in order to move on and hopefully get the motor running.
So, after fiddling around with that brake alignment for I don't even know how long, I got it to a point where it was just slightly rubbing, and through new brake pads, I'm not going to be able to get a perfect alignment on that, I don't think. But anyway, after that, I had a phone call with Tig. He was helping me do a programming for the new motor through the phase runner, putting in the standard defaults through Grin. For some reason, it just didn't work. We couldn't get the motor actually running. We confirmed that the Hall sensors are working, that all the connections are being read properly, but for some reason we just can't get the motor to do a test spin. This is what was happening. So it was every time we tried doing a test spin, it would just eh, 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 and we couldn't really get it to do a full cycle. So, yeah, we're gonna reconvene on Tuesday morning, and hopefully before I go into work, we'll have it sorted out, and then I'll have a fully functioning bike again.
3 days later.
All right, it is Tuesday morning. I have just gotten off the phone with Tig. We've been working diligently in the cycle analyst and phase runner settings to get this guy moving, and I can happily say that we are in business. Yes, 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 yes. Oh, I'm so happy. We finally got it figured out. Cannot tell you how excited I am to finally have this up and running right now. Brake rotor still rubbing a little bit. That's fine. I'm chuffed. I'm really happy right now. Unfortunately, I have to wait in order to test out this new front motor because weather's not very good right now. I'm gonna have to wait, unfortunately, but one of these days the sun will come out and we'll be able to give it a good test.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching. I'm really excited to share this journey with you. If you liked or disliked what you saw, click the appropriate thumb selection, comment any questions, criticisms, or encouragements you have, and if you would like to be notified of what happens next with the bike, hit the subscribe button and bell icon. Be sure to check out the official Electrom YouTube channel to see what the current version of the bike looks like, and until next time, have a good one.